Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to the weekend training for Wheels of Fortune. This is Julie here, and I'm pretty sure that this training is going to answer 95%, if not more, of the questions that you have in your head about Wheels of Fortune. Now, if it doesn't, what you're going to see here below, below the screen, below the slides that are playing, is you're going to be able to enter a question and hit submit, and that question is going to be emailed to me and I'll be able to reply directly to your email. But please do not do that unless it is a question that is not covered here during the training. And there's going to be like a few minutes at the end where there's, it's still, the room is still open, but the training has finished, where if you do have any questions, you're going to be able to type them in. So you basically just type your question in, you click submit, and then I'll be able to reply directly to your email. But again, just wait, because you're going to find that probably most of those questions are going to be answered during this training. Now, Wheels of Fortune has a one-time joining cost of $75 with no monthly fees or anything like that. Now, from Monday or Tuesday, because I'm not 100% certain if it will be Monday, so from Monday or Tuesday you'll be able to activate your position. There'll be a button in your back office, and this is both for pre-registered members and for Cashline's existing members as well who are not pre-registered. Okay, so pre-registered people who are not Cashline's members and Cashline's people who are not pre-registered, you will all have a button in your back office from Monday or Tuesday. If somebody in your downline activates before you, it does not matter. We've got that covered, right? You will still keep that downline, that will still remain intact, providing that you yourself have activated, i.e. you have paid for your position by the cut-off date, which is the last day of February. If you don't, then you will lose your Wheels of Fortune downlines, because at that point everyone who's activated is going to be placed on the wheels, right? So you've got more than 2 weeks to do this. So from Monday or Tuesday, the last day of February, you have over 2 weeks. But don't leave it to the last minute, okay? Because we're not going to extend the cutoff. We won't do it because there are people who will be waiting, who will have, activated very early on as soon as they could, and are waiting to earn money when we launch. So if we extend the cutoff, it means we also delay the launch, because we need 2 or 3 days after the cutoff period before we actually go properly live. So we don't want to delay the launch at all, so therefore we won't extend the cutoff period. Okay, so now you will have the option of Alert Pay and Solid Trust Pay, but initially you won't be able to pay with a credit or debit card. That is not ready. We've always used, in the past, we've always used Alert Pay to process our credit card payments, but Alert Pay, they don't have credit card payments at the moment. They're not actually working that, and we don't know when they're going to get that back on. So we're getting set up to take credit card payments through Solid Trust Pay. That is a process that takes a little bit of time. So it's not going to be ready for you when we start taking payments Monday, Tuesday of next week. It will be ready ASAP, probably by launch, and possibly a good bit before that, but I don't want you to rely on it. You can easily fund your Alert Pay account. I think Solid Trust Pay is easy to fund as well, but I can't really speak for them. But I haven't personally had experience of funding Solid Trust Pay. But Alert Pay is simple to fund, even if you're outside of the United States or Canada. We've had members in the UK just fund their accounts in taking less than 30 minutes through using the bank transfer feature in the Alert Pay back office, and they've had their money in the Alert Pay accounts within 30 minutes of actually initiating that. So in fact less. Somebody said it took 5 minutes last night. It's going from their bank account in the UK to Alert Pay. So it's not difficult to get these funded, and if you're in the US or Canada, you have more options. You can send check or money order. So if you're international outside North America, then that's obviously not an option, but you have the bank transfer or bank wire, and bank transfer is obviously the best option. So there's plenty of time to get these accounts funded, Solid Trust Pay or Alert Pay, so that you can activate your position in time. Right, let's talk about the plan. You know, we run over this on the webinars and the presentations, but of course it doesn't go into the depths of it, because you know that's not what we do on opportunity presentations, and that's what this training is for today. Now let's take a look at exactly how it works. Well, as you probably all know, there are two wheels, a mini wheel and a big wheel, and the big wheel is where the money is. This is where you earn the 225's instant payments of $225. Now, first of all, before you even get to a big wheel, you have to start off in a mini wheel. This is where everybody starts off. And when your mini wheel is completed, so it completes with new members coming into Wheels of Fortune and re-entries coming from the big wheel as the big wheel cycles. So as soon as your mini wheel is completed, then you are going to go off that mini wheel. You're going to cycle off there because your wheel has turned right round, and off you go now onto the big wheel. Now your big wheel is going to complete by members coming from the mini wheel, so entries from the mini wheel and re-entries from the big wheel. As soon as your big wheel is complete, you're going to get your instant payment of $225, and at that same time your two new positions, because you're going to get two new positions here, two re-entries. One is going to go to a mini wheel and one is going to go to a big wheel. Your original position has just earned $225 and it now no longer exists, but you have two new ones in its place. So if your original position was U1, U1 is now gone. It has earned $225 for you, and you've now got U2 and U3. U2 is on another big wheel, ready to earn another 225, and U3 is on another mini wheel, ready to cycle to a big wheel and earn another 225. And of course, when U2 cycles out of the big wheel, then what's going to happen is you're going to get the 225 instant payment. Of course, this happens every single time. U2 is now gone, and you now have U4 and U5 going to the one to the big wheel and one to the mini wheel. Same thing with U3. When U3 cycles on the big wheel, you get instant payment 225. U3 is now gone, and you now have U6 and U7. So all of a sudden, you have four positions now in the system: U4, U5, U6, and U7. When you started off with just one, your original position U1, you now have four positions in the system, and you have earned already 3 times $225, okay, which is $675, and you have four positions now in the system. Your new positions are called clones, and they become your direct downlines. So in other words, U3 follows U2, and U4 and U5 follows U3, and so on, because your clone positions are your direct downlines, and your clone positions follow your direct downlines. Your personally referred members are also your direct downlines, so your clones will follow them as well. Now your clones can complete your own wheels. Here's an example. You could have U at the top, so U something at the top, we'll call it UX. It could be U4, U5, U10, whatever. We'll call it UX, and that's at the top. Okay, so the wheel, this is UX's wheel that we're talking about. UX is at the top, waiting to cycle. UA and UB, etc. can fill up the spots on the wheels of UX. So your other clone positions can fill up the spots on that wheel. Now, so in other words, you're filling up your own spots on your own wheel with your own positions. But UA and UB and so on also have their own wheels. So if UA and UB comes along to UX, and these are all your positions, don't forget, UX's wheel fills up spots on UX's wheel, UA and UB have a wheel of their own as well. This means that you can have multiple wheels. And here's the clincher. You're going to be able to see the wheels of members who are potentially going to cycle onto any given wheel belonging to you. Now, so you will see the wheels not just of your own your own wheels. So you're going to be able to see your own wheels as well. So for example, if you've got UA and UB with a wheel, and UA and UB are both potentially going to cycle onto UX, then you will see those wheels there, and you will be able to see how many spots are left. You'll know what action you need to take at any time in order to cycle any given wheel. You will also see the wheels of other members who are not you, so other members in downlines and uplines who will cycle to your wheel when their wheel completes. Right? So this is how you're going to be able to actually decide, how much money you want to make by looking at your wheel, saying, okay, that wheel there needs 2 positions filled, and this is I'm going to contact this person, and let's see, we get these 2 positions filled. When that comes over to me, I know that I am going to cycle, okay, unless something else happens before. So this is the way that you'll actually be able to look, but you won't need to do this. I mean, this is something I want to make really, really clear. If you just work the program like you normally would, you don't need to go in and study your wheels. But this is for people who really want to get into it. Look at their wheels and look and see who's coming onto their wheel, what needs to be done to get that member or that position over to their wheel to cycle them. You don't have to do this. It will happen anyway. Now, how does the system know which wheel to place you on and which wheel to place your clone positions on when you cycle? It goes by first, time and date, and second, number of spots already completed. So in other words, time and date that wheel was created, and second, the number of spots already completed on a wheel. And here's one example. Wheel 1 was created on March the 10th at 12:23 p.m. and wheel 2 was created on March the 10th at 12:24 p.m. So wheel 2 was created after wheel 1. Wheel 1 is the oldest wheel of these 2 wheels. Both wheel 1 and wheel 2 have 1 empty spot left. So in other words, they have 1 spot left to complete before they cycle. Okay. Now we were talking here about either mini wheels or big wheels. It doesn't matter, but we're not mixed. So it's wheel 1 and wheel 2 are either 2 mini wheels or they are 2 big wheels, right? So they both have 1 empty spot left before they cycle. And you have just cycled and you're going to go to either wheel 1 or wheel 2 in this example. The system is going to place you on wheel 1 because wheel 1 is the oldest wheel of the 2. It was created before wheel 2, and both wheel 1 and wheel 2 have the same number of spots completed. So they're both at exactly the same stage as far as the completion is concerned. So it's going to put you on wheel 1 because wheel 1 was created first. However, let's look at another example. And in this example, wheel 1 was created on April the 15th at 14:35. And wheel 2 was created on April the 5th. Sorry, wheel 1 was created on April the 5th at 14:35, and wheel 2 was created also on April the 5th at 14:36. So wheel 1 is older than wheel 2. But wheel 1 still has 3 empty spots left, and wheel 2 only has 2 empty spots left. The system will place you on wheel 2 because it is closer to completing, even though it was created after wheel 1. So even though wheel 1 is older, the system's going to place you on wheel 2 because wheel 2 is closer to cycling than wheel 1. This has a knock-on effect because it accelerates the cycling, and just by accelerating the cycling on one wheel, you create more cycles throughout the whole system. Maximum cycling is maximum profits. So this is what happens every single time there's a cycle. The system is going to search first by time and date, and second by the number of spots left to complete. And it's going to favor the number of spots left to complete. Okay, so because we want to create more cycles. The more cycles we create, the more other cycles are created, because, as I say, it has a knock-on effect throughout the system. So you end up with cycling and cycling and cycling instead of wheels dotted about, okay, almost ready to cycle, but the next position going to another wheel that only has one spot filled as well, right? So you end up with loads of wheels that take ages to cycle. So we just do it the other way around. We look for the wheels that are closest to cycling and cycle them, which of course brings someone to another wheel, which brings that closer to cycling, and so on and so on. Okay, let's take a look at the follow me system in detail. How does this follow me system work? Because it's a little different than the normal system where you just follow your sponsor and that's it, full stop. Okay, we have set this up a little different in order to spread the benefits of the follow me system. Now, when you sponsor a new Wheels of Fortune member, they will follow you onto your mini wheel. But what happens if you don't have a mini wheel at that time? Because this is possible. For example, let's say you join and immediately sponsor 4 people. Now, before you've cycled in the big wheel and created your clone re-entry, so therefore you've sponsored 4 immediately, there's only room for 2 on your mini wheel. That cycles you've cycled. I'll talk more about the sponsoring and that and what's requirements and if you need to sponsor at all in a little bit. But in this example, you sponsor 4, and 2 of them cycle you off your mini wheel. This is you just join a new member onto a big wheel, but you have 2 other members as well. Where do they go? Because you have not yet cycled and created 2 clone positions, so therefore you don't have another mini wheel yet. What happens is your other newly sponsored members will attach to the mini wheels of your downlines. And it is not possible for there to be no mini wheel at all in your downline, okay? This is not possible. So your newly sponsored members will attach to the mini wheel of your downlines when you yourself have no mini wheel at that time. And when your newly sponsored members cycle from the mini wheel, they will then join you on your big wheel. Now, your newly created clone positions when you cycle will search for wheels belonging to your direct downlines. Right, so this is how the follow me system works once you cycle. Your clone positions will search for wheels belonging to your direct downlines, and your direct downlines include any other clones that you have of your own. And they will attach to a wheel. In other words, your new positions after you cycle will attach to a wheel going by the criteria we talked about before. So they will attach to your direct downlines, which could be your own clones or one of your personally referred people, by this criteria: time and date stamp and wheels closest to completion. Okay, is there a strategy for building Wheels of Fortune? Because this is something that people ask all the time. Is it best to sponsor 2 and place other people below them and so on, which is called a team build? Now, I never, everybody knows as well, if they've been, on previous webinars of mine through Cashlines, I am not an advocate of the team build. And the reason for that is that it never works. It absolutely never works. It only works for a few people who are at the top of the team build. It also fosters the idea in people that they do not have to do any work because they are waiting and expecting for people to be placed below them. Then what happens is you get to a stage, when it's going so far down that it is impossible. You have a bunch of people there that there's no way that there's 2 people to place below them, because everyone's gone in, and there's far too many people at the bottom now for just the people who are doing the team build at the top. They can't possibly do it, right? Because they'd suddenly have to now try and sponsor 30, 50, 100 people in order to then give the people who are there too, and then they've got to sponsor 300 people to give them there too, right? We've seen people making this mistake in Cashlines, right? We've seen this mistake being made, and we've seen people that they thought that by helping people to earn their first commissions, they would get them motivated and excited. It didn't work like that, because those people sat there saying, okay, where's my next commissions then? You know, when they hadn't done anything in the first place because somebody had placed people below them. So that just does not work. It's never ever sustainable. It's never worked. There's not an instance. It's impossible. There's only one strategy that ever truly works. That is, sponsor your direct team members to you and then work with those who want to work, and then you will have success. Now, at launch, there's going to be everything you need in order to take massive action if you wish to do so. That being said, now is a great time to put yourself ahead of the game by pre-building. We've got our new website coming, but not until closer to launch. We've got credit and debit card payments coming, but they are not there yet. So the bottom line is, make use of the tools that are available to you right now. What do you have right now? You have the Wheels of Fortune page on your website. You have the webinars. And if you don't take advantage of those webinars, you're missing out on a very powerful tool, a very, very powerful building tool. And if you don't use them, guess what? Probably your referred members won't use them either. Email and ad templates in your back office. We have some there now already. We've got a few there. We won't be doing too much more there now until launch. And keep watching your emails and the news section on your site. Right? And this is really important, because I get a lot of support tickets coming in and Skype messages, and the questions are when the question has already been, the answer to the question they are asking has already been sent to them in an email in the past 24 to 48 hours or so. But you know, the emails don't get read, and then you're not in the loop. If you don't read your emails, you're not in the loop. And a news section, everything that's really important goes in the news section, but you know, do read your emails. And just want to go back to these webinars for a minute. We've started and launched a brand new webinar platform just this last week, started on Tuesday. We're running, you know, we've been running 2 webinars a day this past week at different time zones for people. Now this coming week, next week, starting Monday, we're going to do 3 webinars a day. And there is no excuse for anyone not to be able to get on these, because we're running 3 a day and we're doing them at time zones to suit everybody. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And if you have to register for these webinars, so you have to go to your back office or to your email, click on that link. You will see the schedule. But the schedule at the moment only shows maybe next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or something like that. But there's going to be more added on there. So by the time Monday comes, that schedule is going to be really beefed out, and you're going to see that you've got 3 webinars a day right through Monday, right through to Friday. You just register for one, you get the details of that, you get a reminder email, you get another reminder email 15 minutes before it starts, and then you log on and you just, you know, you listen and watch the presentation. This is something that something that you would want to do more than once as well, because you know, it helps you with their training, and they're not the same every day, in case you think that. Right? They aren't the same, because we also give you the updates as well on these webinars. We answer questions on these webinars. So, and you know, it's important to try and get on. If you're serious about this, I would get on 1 a day. I really would try and get on 1 a day, especially during this pre-launch period, when there's so much happening and so much going on. And get everyone you can think of on them, because you know, we have a great invitation page there. We have, when people click on that link, they see a short video about Wheels of Fortune, just a very short teaser video, which encourages them to register for that webinar. And then they're going to get those follow-up emails reminding them to get on the webinar. So use this, send that link out. The link that is in your back office, or we send out by email from the company, is the one to send to other people. Once you have registered and you receive a link for your registration, that is your private link. You cannot give that to anybody else. It's only for you. Everyone has to register. and then when you register you get your own link. So it's the registration page you send out, the page where people go and register. That's what you send out. That's what's there in the back office. It's also on the front of your website, not just in the back office, on your Wheels of Fortune page below the video. If you scroll down, that link is right there. People can click on that and register as well. Okay, that is pretty much it for the training. Now, as I say, I'm just going to leave this room open now for a couple of minutes, which will allow, if anybody has any questions that weren't covered or anything that you just heard and you weren't sure of, don't forget, you will actually receive a replay of this as well in your email in about an hour, so you can watch this again anytime. You'll be emailed an email from Webinar Meeting Room that has a link you can click on, a button you can click on. You can watch the replay of this very webinar. You'll have that in about an hour's time in your inbox. But if there's anything that you feel you have a question and it was not covered at all in this training, please do ask it now. You submit it there down below in the box. It will be emailed to me and I will answer you within 24 hours. Okay, back to your email. So how's that? So again, thank you very much, everybody. And we're just leaving this running. The sound is going to go off in a moment, but we'll leave running now for a couple of minutes in case you have questions that you want to type in.